Hello, my name is Shuji Miller, and this issue brief is about the recruitment and retention of mathematics educators. A well-known and widespread issue within education has been reported since the mid-1980s, especially within the field of mathematics education. The National Commission on Excellence in Education and the National Academy of Sciences first publicized reports bringing about a national focus aimed towards the recruitment and retention of mathematics teachers. Though many programs and initiatives have already aimed efforts in improving this dilemma, it has not been quite enough to keep up with the demand for highly qualified mathematics teachers. In 1970, the percentage of college freshmen indicating an interest in teaching has gone from 19% in 1970 to less than 4% by 1982, while the number of college graduates majoring in education declined by more than 38% in the same time frame. While the entrance into teacher education programs has decreased, the number of math teachers leaving the profession has also increased, outpacing the amount of those who graduated in math education by nearly 10 times. A survey of state service supervisors showed that in 1982, 42 out of the 45 surveyed districts indicated that they were in great need of mathematics teachers. This shortage of teachers continued as the years progressed. More recently, the U.S. Department of Education Office of Post-Secondary Education has indicated that over 40 states have reported shortages in high-needs fields such as special education and science, engineering, technology, and mathematics. This resorts to a need for hiring underqualified teachers, in turn affecting the quality of STEM instruction. The U.S. Department of Education designed the Schools and Staffing Survey and a follow-up survey called the Teacher Follow-up Survey in response to studying the increased issue. Comprising two of the largest and most comprehensive data on teacher staffing and turnover, these reports found that out of the 43% of schools that had math vacancies, nearly half of them had an extreme difficulty in filling those positions in 1993. In addition, the SASS from 1990 through 2012 indicated that the situation is far worse in high minority districts, where 90% reported difficulties in recruiting and retaining highly qualified STEM teachers. Seeing these shortages, the National Commission on Teaching and America's Future stated in their annual report that schools would need to hire at least 2 million teachers over the next 10 years to keep up with the student enrollment and teacher turnover rates. But is this issue of recruitment and retention really a problem? According to recent reports, the profession of teaching is one of the highest populated fields in the United States, and research has shown that we do create an adequate supply of elementary and secondary educators each year to maintain the ever-growing demand. Nearly 4% of the nationwide workforce are comprised of teachers, meaning there are more teachers than there are doctors, lawyers, or even engineers. If there seems to be an adequate supply of teachers in the U.S., why is it that so many schools have been reporting shortages and difficulties in both staffing and the retainment of highly qualified educators? Though we create enough teachers, attrition is one of the primary causes of this shortage. The National Commission on Teaching in America's Future indicated that the teaching profession may have one of the highest turnover rates of any career in the nation, with nearly 50% of new teachers leaving within their first 5 years. Other researchers point out that these reports of adequate staffing availability may be biased as recruitment and retention of teachers can vary drastically across districts, and high rates in affluent areas may overshadow other impoverished schools. Reports from the 2000 through 2001 SASS and TFS also indicate that nearly 60% of all highly qualified teachers take jobs in fields outside of the classroom teaching due to the possibilities of job opportunities with higher salary and job satisfaction, autonomy, and prestige, particularly in high STEM fields. This shortage of educators will have a detrimental impact on student education, as a decrease in staffing leads to higher student-to-teacher ratios, less individualized attention, and a need to hire underqualified educators. Though in 1999, over 15% of math teachers in high-poverty schools and 7% of low-poverty schools were taught by uncertified teachers, indicating there's a less of a problem in affluent school systems. By 2011 and 12, nearly 38% did not have adequate credits or were not certified to teach in their subject areas. Hiring underqualified teachers or using certified teachers in a different content area other than their own certification to fill in these shortage gaps lead to significant negative effects on students' mathematics education and achievement. So, in regards to recruitment, how can we get a larger pool of mathematics educators? One such approach in attempt to bringing in new educators is the recruitment from targeted groups. Some programs such as Troops to Teachers or Teach for America scout to recruit future teachers from specific groups such as mid-career military personnel or college graduates not necessarily in a teacher preparation program. Though programs such as these have helped to bring in more individuals into the teaching pipeline, they unfortunately fail to staff the schools and subject areas in the direst need. They also sometimes overlook important pedagogical preparation and student teaching experiences that equip them with the tools and knowledge to be effective teachers that can succeed in the challenges of the teaching profession. Programs that target specific individuals with math and science backgrounds may seem like an adequate pool to reach from, but they've been shown to be more likely to either never enter the teaching profession or drop out early in their career. The 1999 through 2000 SASS also surveyed those with advanced math and science degrees and found that they were 1.85 times more likely to leave the teaching field. However, that does not necessarily mean that this target group is worth ignoring, as 70% of those in undergraduate math and science fields will switch out of their original programs according to the National Center of Education Statistics. These are plentiful target groups that have the potential to be employed in the teaching profession. Organizations such as the Math Teacher Education Partnership, American Physical Society, and the Computing Research Association have found that 54% of math majors indicated teaching as a possible interest for their profession. Though previous reports of attrition by STEM degree holders seem intimidating, many of these individuals have been found to leave not due to their interest in teaching, but due to higher levels of pay and a positive work environment. By improving specific areas of the work environment such as administration cooperation, classroom autonomy, or even salary, the top 3 reasons for turnover according to the 1995 TFS, we are able to retain those who may leave due to the negative conditions in these areas. The teacher follow-up survey indicated that the 2 greatest areas of concern for STEM professionals entering teaching were classroom management and salary satisfaction. Though proper training from pre-education programs that incorporate frequent classroom exposure and well-designed pedagogical approaches can help with classroom management, the fear of a low salary is hard to address. However, according to the MTEP, APS, and CRA, there seems to be a common misconception in the math and science communities. Martyr 2017 indicated that the average math major had a perceived teaching salary of $35,000 to $45,000. Though a math major's desired average salary was within $1,000 of the actual annual salaries of teachers, which is $45,000 through $55,000. The same study showed that a starting salary of newly graduated non-teaching individuals that did not pursue graduate school began at a salary nearly $10,000 less than a newly graduated teacher. Dispelling such misconceptions can possibly greatly help STEM professionals relieve their fears of entering the teacher profession. However, other financial incentives, such as loan forgiveness and scholarships and grants, can also help improve the monetary incentive for STEM professionals to enter the teaching profession. Another possible approach is alternative certification pathways, which can help those in specialized fields who already possess the content knowledge to teach in STEM fields. Alternative certifications have been on the rise in recent years and have resulted in a shift in the backgrounds of those entering the teaching profession. Many of these alternative certification programs have also shown to have higher rates of diversity in their candidates in terms of age, gender, and other areas than traditional pathways. Diversity in the field can not only help bring minority representation among classrooms with higher underrepresented students, but they also have the same hiring and retention rates as those who take on the traditional pathways. In 2011, 37% of the nation's population and 44% of students in all elementary and secondary schools were from a minority background, whereas only 17.3% of all teachers in the United States were minorities. Though focus on recruiting minority teachers have increased across the years, minority teacher turnover is also at its all-time high, 20%, predominantly male minority teachers. To better aim the recruitment of minority teachers, we must aim to research and analyze barriers of inequity such as finances, access to resources, language opportunities, and cultural adaptations that may possibly discourage potential educators from entering the profession. In regards to recruitment, we must also address the urbanicity of various school districts. Urban, suburban, and rural schools have also been faced with the harshest shortages in the teaching workforce. Minority teachers have been shown to be 2 to 3 times more likely to serve in a high poverty or hard-to-staff school than their non-minority counterparts. In addition, an uncommon source for recruitment may exist in individuals who have already left the teaching profession due to retirement, career change, or life change. According to the 2001 SASS and the TFS, older teachers with experience are 74% more likely to stay in a high-poverty urban and rural school. However, recruiting experienced teachers often poses a threat to existing schools because a more affluent school may poach from a less fortunate school who may not be able to compete in resources and salary. In fact, though the turnover rate in low-poverty schools were 12.8% in 2001, the turnover rate in high-poverty urban schools and high-poverty rural schools were 22% and 16.4% respectively. Though some states that the migration of teachers does not contribute to the teacher shortage, it still has a negative impact on student performance. During the year 2000, migration, and not attrition, consisted nearly 47% of the total departures in a school system. These migrations not only drain the resources poured into preparing a school's teaching force, but is often the hard-to-staff schools that lose their staff and must then go and search for someone else to fill their place which is equivalent to teacher attrition. However, programs such as the Teacher Loan Forgiveness Program or the Teach Grant can help alleviate financial burdens from teachers by encouraging them to teach or pledge to teach in a high-need school or field for about 5 to 10 years in return for college grants or loan forgiveness. Though there are many financial incentives in place to recruit teachers into these high-needs areas, the major shortfall within the education system is the retention of these teachers. So if attrition and migration are significant factors in our shortage of STEM teachers, how can we retain the existing teachers we already have? There are several conflicting reports about the dilemmas involved in the retention of STEM teachers. Though some research indicate that financial incentives can help increase the potential teaching candidates by up to 40%, there are countering reports about the correlation between salary and retention of teachers. Correlation between salary and retention has not been conclusive. The teacher follow-up survey stated that an increase in salary can increase the likelihood of teachers staying in the field by nearly 46%. However, other reports indicate that there is an absence of such correlation relationship. Though increasing salaries may help to retain some teachers, many of the reports collectively agree that the number one issue in retention is work condition, tied to faculty decision-making, instructional autonomy, and administrative support. Many programs focus on the recruitment of new teachers into the teaching profession, but the recruitment is done in vain if we cannot retain the teachers we recruit. Most schools do not have the adequate resources to look beyond the local area to recruit new teachers, and so focusing on retaining the existing ones is the most promising solution for many of these schools. The SASS, TFS, and NCES and other research groups have indicated that the most prominent cause for attrition is the dissatisfaction with one's working conditions. Nearly 50% of new teachers leave the profession within the first 5 years due to the first experiences in their first work environment. This indicates that many teacher experiences issues regarding classroom management, instructional support, and administrative guidance to support them in their early years of teaching is crucial for their retention. These frustrations and stressors cause many new teachers to leave too early before they can develop their skills in teaching. Therefore, we must focus on ensuring that teachers are well equipped with both content and pedagogical knowledge and classroom experiences to provide them with exposure to the real classroom setting. Teacher preparation programs should emphasize the experiences and challenges future teachers may encounter and prepare them not only with mathematical understanding, but with the skills, instructional strategies, and advanced pedagogy to succeed in creating a conducive learning environment as they enter the teaching field. There are many strategies that we can implement in order to improve teacher retention. One such thing is to improve the quality of our teacher preparation program. By properly equipping our future teachers with both content and pedagogical knowledge, we can ensure that they are ready to face any of the challenges that they might face in their teaching career. We can also provide more opportunities for direct interaction and experiences inside of a classroom in their pre-service experience. By putting them in actual classrooms, future teachers can face all of the challenges involving classroom management, student behavior, lesson planning, and even parents to help prepare them for the challenges they might face in their career. Also, implementing a peer support group in the teacher preparation program can significantly help the emotional and mental well-being of our future teachers by providing them an opportunity to not only exchange ideas and resources, but to also vent and act as a therapy or support group amongst one another. We can make sure that they have a healthy and efficient way of growing into their teaching profession. Research has shown that mentor teachers have also positively increased the experiences of the first-year teachers to aid in the transition of a new school. Mentor teachers should be teachers who are experienced and well-equipped in not only the content and pedagogy, but procedures and guidelines and methods unique to that school to help them ease into the challenges of being a new teacher. Incentives for participation of such mentoring programs can reward excellent teachers for sharing their experience and knowledge, but also contribute to the school's learning communities as well. Federal programs such as the Teacher Recruitment Grants or the National Science Foundation's Collaboratives for Excellence in Teacher Preparation can help provide resources, partnerships, and financial assistance to better prepare new teachers and provide them with the current and ongoing training and materials to help them with their new school. Many teachers have also indicated that administrative support and classroom autonomy plays a significant role in their satisfaction with their work environment, while also expressing that they don't feel such support from their administration. Administration can improve the relationship between faculty and admin by implementing programs to open lines of communication between them and their staff, and an opportunity to express both support and critiques in regards to classroom expectations. Administrators can also help balance the pressures placed from state and federal mandates and allow more autonomy within the classroom by entrusting instructional practices to highly qualified teachers. When trying to implement these strategies for retention, schools should really focus on primarily the work environment and new teacher introduction, as these are the most crucial years for teacher retention. Though salary plays a role in the retention of mathematics educators, regardless of salary, 80% of teachers in the field state that if they could start over, they would still choose teaching again. So it's not necessarily about the salary. The most prominent reasons that the teachers enter the profession are the common themes of enthusiasm in education, making an impression on the youth, and simply the joy of teaching and mentoring and inspiring others. Therefore, the biggest focus for retaining teachers is to improve the work environment of our educators so that we can give them a positive and conducive work environment so that they can create a positive and conducive learning environment for our students. When we create a more positive work environment, we can aim to retain the qualified educators we already have within our institution. In conclusion, there is a huge issue that is plaguing our nation as a whole. We have a huge shortage in both the recruitment rates and the retention rates of STEM teachers, not because we don't have enough teachers or enough people being produced as teachers, but there's a lack of motivation to enter and remain in the teaching field. The schools are staffed with underqualified teachers as it is, and there are teachers that are uncertified or teachers who are certified but teaching in various subject areas which they are not certified in, therefore significantly and negatively affecting student achievement. These also participate in higher student-to-teacher ratios, which can play a huge role in student achievement, and it becomes a nationwide crisis. Therefore, we heavily need to focus on the two areas of recruitment and retention. Areas in which we can more effectively recruit is by focusing on specific groups, such as those already in STEM fields, or those who have already had experiences in teaching and may have left, or even other areas such as the military personnel or retired teachers. We can improve salary in order to help increase the chances of recruiting future teachers, but we also need to address the misconceptions that many have regarding the salary of teachers. This will help a lot of the current STEM field majors to enter into this teaching profession. We can also focus our attention on alternative certifications so that those in STEM fields who show interest in teaching have an easier pathway to enter into our career. We also should focus on increasing minority representation and minority inclusion in our teaching profession because they are also shown to have higher retention rates in hard-to-staff schools, and it is important to have minority and diversity representation when our student population is equally as diverse. We should also focus in on the urbanicity of our schools as well, as lower and high poverty schools tend to have higher retention and recruiting difficulties. We can improve financial incentives and resources for teaching in such schools, and we also need to address the issue about increasing minorities that help represent and stay in these schools because they can build better and more positive relationships with our students. In regards to retention, we really need to focus on the teacher preparation programs and making sure that the student teaching experience and the pre-teaching experience and training equips our future teachers with all of the tools they need in order to succeed in the most crucial years of their first year's teaching. We can also implement programs such as mentor teachers to help new teachers into easing themselves into the challenges of the school, as well as any sort of administrative support and teaching autonomy that helps create a more positive learning environment that have a direct impact on job satisfaction. Addressing these issues will help not only retain, but also recruit future teachers from entering into the profession. Thank you for viewing and watching this presentation on the issue brief of recruitment and retention of STEM teachers. If you have any further questions, please feel free to email me at shooty.miller01@utrgv.edu.